Hello? Oh, awesome. Alright, we good to go? Alright. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. So yeah, this is Spyro the Dragon, first Spyro game, not the remake.
Okay, rolling.
I'm doing any percent today, which means wow, that delay's really distracting. Yeah, I'll be collecting about half of the stuff in the game. That's what you need to finish it. Oh, my controller is a bit messed up. So essentially, the goal of this game is to collect the dragons and the gems. The dragons have been frozen by Narcy Nork as part of the intro cutscene that we skipped. We need 50 out of the total 80 dragons, but up to the point where we need them, there's only 58 available, so we need most of them. And then we need 6,000 gems to beat the game. Essentially, to progress from one world to the next, you need a certain number of collectibles. And so we just collect enough to beat the game in this category. And so in terms of the routing, you're basically just trying to work out what the fastest gems are and the fastest dragons are. It's the route's changed a lot over the years, but it's mostly just small changes rather than like massive skip discoveries. Little skip here to get up onto the ledge. So especially in the first couple worlds, it's going to be a lot of just beeline from one dragon to the next, because the gems aren't that great. Like, the levels don't have that many gems, and they're mostly low value. But we do need a lot of dragons, so... We need 10 to leave this first world. I'm going to get 11. But there's no requirement to go to all the levels. And so we do skip a few levels completely, particularly in this first world. In terms of the movement, you hold square to go fast. Spyro charges, and that's much faster than walking or jumping or any other kind of movement. So you want to be on the ground and charging as much as you can. Another little skip here. And then one of the larger skips in the run is coming up right now. I'll just kind of do it and then explain it. Nice. So that's just a shortcut to get to that dragon more quickly. But essentially by gliding up against the side of the mountain like that, you can maintain your height better than just a normal glide. And then some of the spots on the mountain there you can stand on, and so you can just kind of go over it instead of around it. Saves 5 seconds or so. And then that's all for this first world. We skipped a lot of stuff, but we just got what we need and get out. The other category of this, for speedrunning this game, is 120%. That collects everything. It's about twice as long. Gonna do the levels a bit out of order in this world. I'm gonna go to... Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm mixing myself up with the 120 route. Something I'm doing all over the place is a little bit of movement tech that we call flame charging. Essentially, when you charge through a lot of chests or enemies, the gem from them homes into you. But if you flame something, the gem typically doesn't home in. But by kind of flaming it and then charging extremely quickly afterwards and getting the right kind of positioning distance away from it, you can make the gem home in even when you flame. It lets you cut corners and collect some gems more quickly than you would otherwise. It's a very small optimization each time you do it, but over the course of a run, it saves quite a lot of time. And then tricky jump coming here that I might not make. Nice. That's actually super hard. I'm glad I got that. So something you might have noticed is sometimes I don't collect the dragons. It looks like I'm kind of going around them and then getting them rather than just getting them from the direction I come at. Each dragon has a particular spot that you want to collect it from, because Spyro walks to a certain position during the cutscene, and it's faster for you to go around closest to that spot before you get the dragon, rather than letting the cutscene play for longer, because Spyro walks really slowly. Just a little optimization. That's an unintended jump, but it's really easy. And then something I will go for... I'm going to try this one more time. I failed it, but I'm going to try it one more time because it's really cool. I didn't quite make it. If you can make it up onto that roof, you can do a faster route, and it saves a little bit of time, but it's fine. Still, the proxy's pretty cool, even though I didn't make it up onto the roof. You can squeeze yourself between the enemy's body and the wall there, and you just get launched up into the air. Yeah. I think I got that. I can't hear the game super well. Normally I would use an audio cue for that, knowing if I lit that firework, but I'm pretty sure I got it. One of the nice things about this category is if you miss things, you don't necessarily have to turn around and go back for them, because you can make up your gem count later on. Because you don't need all the gems, you just need a bit over half of the ones that you can collect. Yeah. Means you can kind of play a bit riskier with your movement. Little source of like luck factor here with the positioning of these enemies. This is okay. Oh. And then this is the first flight level we're going to do. There was one in the first world, but we didn't do it. Essentially, you get flight, and you go around getting all the objects. And if you get everything in one go before the time runs out, you get a whole bunch of gems. There's no dragons in these levels, but you get 300 gems in not a lot of time, so they're very worth it. The lower to the ground you fly, the faster you go, so that's the main optimization in these. take a bit of a unintended route through here. It's kind of tight. And then there's a little animation that normally plays when you get the last object, where Spyro does a big loop-the-loop in the air. But if you position yourself so that Spyro hits a piece of scenery during that animation, it just instantly ends. And so by going right into that lamppost, he hits the lamppost at the end of the animation, at the start of the animation rather, and it just doesn't play at all. I think that was the first egg thief I got. There are 5. There are 12 total. We need to get 5. They're all in the first 3 worlds. We'll get a lot more in the next world. Oh, I missed that turn. So this is the first boss level we're going to, but we're not actually going to bother fighting the boss. Dr. Shemp's up there, but we're just going to collect this dragon and then leave straight away. Shemp gives you a fair few gems, but his animations are really long and it's just not worth fighting him. We'll fight the bosses from now on though. As I said earlier, there's no requirement to actually do any of the levels specifically, so we're free to skip them. This level's pretty long. It's got 5 dragons. We get about 200 gems. The longest level so far. For those who aren't aware, the different colored gems have different values. The red gems are worth 1, the greens are 2, blues are 5, the gold or yellow gems are worth 10, and then the pink ones are worth 25. The pinks are really rare, but see a few. And so usually we'll do larger detours for higher value gems, and if the gems are low value, we'll just skip them or only get the ones that are directly in our path. Ah, that's a shame. And so all we need to leave this world is 1,200 gems. And we have just over 1,400, so we have plenty. From here on, the levels start getting a fair bit longer and a fair bit more kind of worthwhile gems, so more detours away from just running from dragon to dragon. A little thing with those druids outside there, they raise and lower these platforms. And you need to be careful not to jump anywhere near them, because as soon as you jump, they just raise their platform instantly. So you have to do pretty specific movement to be able to kill those. Enemy corpses tend to persist for quite a while after you kill them. And so with these big enemies, you need to be quite careful not to get like stuck on their dead bodies after you've flamed them. Can skip this cycle, you can actually make a jump up there. I should have got that life left. I'm actually going to get that. So these are extra lives. They don't give you any percentage or anything, but since I've died a couple times, I'm going to pick one up there just for safety. And then there's some wall here that you can actually just glide straight through. It's pretty great. They just didn't put collision on that part of the wall. This game is overall pretty solid, especially compared to the later Spyro games. The later games are lots of like walls and ceilings that you can just go straight through because they don't have any collision. But this game was coded pretty solidly by comparison. This climb's pretty tricky, trying to get flame charges on these big enemies without bonking into them. And we want to catch a cycle on these platforms at the top here. Which I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, easy. And then coming up soon will be our first time using the supercharge. These are these ramps with the arrows on that they make you go really fast when you charge on them. I'm going to go back for that. And there is some pretty crazy supercharge stuff you can do in this level. I hope I can get the whole route because it's really, really cool, but we'll see what I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and start that again because I didn't get very far. Nice. Alright, second try lucky. You're not supposed to be able to charge through that cave at all like that. That's very unintended. Very specific spots on the ground and on those pillars that you have to jump to be able to make it up steps and things like that. Your jump height gets nerfed a lot when you're supercharging. More supercharge. And then another long supercharge here. This one probably looks more impressive, but it's a lot easier in reality. Because we're going along those like islands. And then Dactyly's here because it's just faster than gliding and running all the way back around. And we want this supercharge ramp again. The dragon statues act as checkpoints. So when you die, you just go back to the last dragon you collected, or the last dragon that you stood on as well. I can skip that guy. He's like a backup thief if I missed one earlier. There's a couple that it's pretty easy to miss. And then another flight level. I'm going to go into this one from the back. You can see there's a dragon statue right outside it. But by going through the back like that, Spyro kind of travels through the portal for a while before the level starts loading. And during that time, I actually touched the dragon statue. You didn't see it, but trust me. And so when I come out of the level, that dragon will already be collected. And I won't need to sit through the 7 or so seconds of waiting for it to break. You could theoretically do that with any dragon that was near a portal, but that's the only one that's close enough. So when I leave this flight, you'll see that the dragon is just collected somehow. Again, make sure you hit something during that animation so that it just skips it completely. That's also a good... Yeah, there, the dragon's gone. That's also a good place to check my gem count. I know if I have over 3,000 gems leaving Crystal Flight, my gems are pretty on track, and I did, so I feel okay. Oh, come on. We're actually going to collect almost all the gems in this level. The route is basically the same as in a 120% speedrun. This is Blowhard. First boss that we actually kill. Oh, come on. There's like one more chest up near the return home portal that I didn't collect. But yeah, all but 2 of the gems there. And we're done with Magic Crafters. All we need to leave here is 5 eggs, but obviously been collecting a lot more than that. I'm actually going to skip the first level of Beastmakers here. this portal here, Terrace Village. There are routes that do Terrace Village, but the fastest known route, and the one that I'm doing, doesn't enter it at all. There's 2 dragons there. It's not super bad, but not worth it. I'm supposed to hit both of those fireworks chests, but it's okay. Flame charging these boars is pretty tricky. I'm not going to go for the one here because I don't want to miss the 10 gem, but for the 5 gem ones, I'll go for them. And then another flight level. This one has a really tough route. Whether I go for it or not depends on how good my movement is in the first half of the flight. If I make a mistake towards the start, I'll just go back to the easier route. As usual, the lower you fly to the ground, the faster you go. Oh, I missed that guy. That's not good. Okay, that's fine. I backed that up, alright. There we go. So a slight mistake there, but nothing major, and I still got the cycle at the end. So it's a really strange route. You like intentionally hit walls to turn around and land on the floor to flame an enemy. It's very odd for a Spyro flight. This level's renowned for being hard and punishing and having horrible enemies. But hopefully I can do it pretty well. These trees are the stuff of nightmares for kids. They just eat you and they chase you really far. Once they've locked onto you, there's like no escape. And these frogs can hit you from very far away. Like that. So this little next section, how it goes completely depends on how the enemies behave. Yeah, that's not ideal. Okay. Okay. Getting here, that wasn't ideal, but I should be okay. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I might have to... I guess I'll just Death Abuse later on. So a little thing to bear in mind if you're not familiar with the game is that the little dragonfly that follows you around he picks up gems for you, but he's also your health. And so if you get hit too many times, he disappears, and then you have to actually touch every gem manually to collect them. I'm just going to Death Abuse here to get my sparks back, because the next little section I'm very likely to get hit, and I didn't want to die. Because this room is mental. Okay, that went amazingly well. I didn't even need to collect didn't even need to Death Abuse there. It's very often that you just get hit and then hit again and just comboed by the frogs and the Norks. Okay, so at the start of this level, you see a thief run off, and I really want to keep up with him and like overtake him before I get to the first dragon. Because if I do, he like teleports to the end of his little route he does, and it's a fair bit faster. This is looking good. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to do a jump to a secret island, and the thief is already going to be there. But normally, if I'd gone slightly slower through that first section, I'd need to wait for him to arrive, and it loses like 3 or 4 seconds. So it doesn't look like much when you get it right, but it is pretty tough. And it gives you a 25 gem, so you really want it. You can snipe that guy before he even moves. Again, if you miss that, it's no big deal. You just get him at the end of the level, but it is slightly faster to get him there. That's 49. I only need 50 dragons total, so we're getting towards the end. And then hopefully I can get this supercharged trick. Nice. That's another very unintended thing. Very good treetops. Yeah, using that little bit of scenery as a ramp to get up to the top level. Normally you'd need to do a whole long supercharge to get that, and that was much faster. Ah. Climbing stairs is one of the trickiest things to learn to do in this game. Just kind of making sure you don't bonk on any of the steps. Getting your jump and charge rhythm correct. And this is my last dragon. I did slightly lie, I will be collecting one more dragon, but this is the last one that you kind of need for a balloonist requirement to go to another level. Will get one more dragon later on. And then this is Metalhead. You fight him by destroying all these little pylons. They get surrounded by electricity on cycles, and so you need to not lose too much time so that you know what cycle you're on. But I did pretty well there. Okay, a little bit of stuff to clear up in the home world, and then we'll head off to the next one, in which we won't be doing much at all. Oh, I missed that 5. That was silly. Sometimes Sparks works in mysterious ways. You'll run right past the gem and he won't pick it up. And sometimes I'll get them from further away than you expect him to. But yes, I have my 50 dragons. Now I just need to get up to 6,000 gems to reach the final world, which I'll do in 2 levels here. Oh, so there's a thing that happens there. Whenever I do one of those jump and glide, I do a couple of extra inputs. I do a charge and then a glide. But what happened there was I got lag, and so the charge didn't come out, and so I just completely missed the jump. It's kind of a risk there. Also, that's a skip to get past those guys that up to Icy Flight without going to the cannon. You can just kind of jump over them, and they damage you, boost you up, and you just glide past. So I need to do a bit of maths here to work out how many gems I need in the next level, so... Kind of a problem because I missed that train there. Normally I'd want to hit him there, but I missed the cycle. But it's not a huge deal. You can get him at the end with not that much time lost. So that's what happens if you don't hit anything after those fly levels. It plays this whole long animation. So that's what I've been skipping every time up to now. And then this is Jacques, the boss level in Dreamweavers. We won't be doing any of the other levels here. So I'll be getting up to my 6,000 gems in this level. And thankfully you can kind of customize the route quite a lot. There's lots of gems, but they're spread out a lot, so you can do little detours to get extras that you need. Oh, come on. Alright, so I played it a little safe there. I'll probably have a little bit over 6,000, but I didn't want to risk having added up wrong in my head. Oh, come on. Because if you do leave the level with not enough, it's kind of a problem. There's a few extras you can get in the home world, but it's not great. It's pretty slow. And then you get 175 just from the boss. So, yeah. So I've got 6,008 total. Which is not too bad. And so Nasty's world works kind of different from the rest of the game. It's very linear. You do one level, then the next level, then the next level. And you just have to reach the end of the level to unlock the next one. So I will collect this dragon here. This is number 51. You need to collect this in order for the second level to unlock. And then I'll be doing a skip here just to reach the return home portal as quickly as possible. I'm going to collect the rat at the back here because I don't want to die if I mess this up and game over. Okay. Yeah, so you just kind of jump on top of that Nork as he raises up the TNT barrel, hold X, and he just boosts you over. It's pretty great. And then I'm going to go for this skip a few times. I might not get it, but if not, I'll just do the level. This is really hype if I get this, though. I'll go like 5 times. No. No. One more. Oh, so close. All right, so you can actually get in there without doing this level. It's really hard and inconsistent, and I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes going for it. But it saves about 40 to 50 seconds if you get it first try. But instead I can show off the cool stuff in Twilight Harbor as well. But yeah, it means doing like world records attempts of this this category is really pretty horrible because you have to get that trick very quickly. But instead I can do this, which is a random glitchy supercharge that doesn't look like it's there. But yeah, this category is really fun, but playing it at a high level means a lot of your runs just die to that trick at the very end. But now I've just got Nasty Nork to kill. I'm pretty close to the end here, so be ready, I guess. Nasty Nork is not a hard boss. He's the final boss, but there's like nothing to do. You collect these keys, which you can get early, both of them. And then you just kind of chase him around for a bit and flame him twice, and he dies. He's invulnerable while he's running like this, but when he gets to this little bit at the end, he becomes vulnerable. And then be ready on time. Time. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry I took so long. I kind of forgot about you.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Nasty Nork.
Nasty Nork is toast.
So
Make sure to stick around. Next run, Super Mario World. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Well, mostly. I still got